Hello, my students and viewers at home. I welcome you to today's teaching online from St. Charles College, Onitsha. My name is Ubamadu Emeka from Computer Department. The subject we have today is data processing, and the topic is database management system. You remember in our last lesson, I made mention of our topic, the topic we're going to teach today, which is DBMS. And I also say that the last topic, which is the definition of the basic terminologies we use in database management system, that last lesson is to get you acquainted with this very lesson I called database management system. Now, specific objectives. By the end of the lesson, you students will be able to 1. Define database management system, which is called DBMS in abbreviation. 2. Outline the history of DBMS. 3. State the characteristics of database management system. 4. Contrast DBMS versus flat file. 5. Mention the users in a DBMS environment. 6. List the popular DBMS software. 7. Mention the different applications of DBMS. 8. Explain the types of DBMS. And finally, state the advantages and disadvantages of DBMS. Now to the content of the lesson proper. What is data? But before we treat about DBMS, we need to know what is data. Because without data, DBMS has no meaning. Okay, first thing to know about is the data, which we know it is we normally say that data is a raw fact. So it remains the same definition. Here, data is a collection of raw facts. The facts have implicit meaning, also known as data element. It can be recorded and stored. Example, customer information. In customer information, we have customer name, customer number, customer city, and customer country. This is just some element of data. Now over to database. What is a database? We have been hearing this word database. Some of us don't know what is a database. Now we're going to treat what database is all about today. A database is a collection of related and integrated data. These can be stored on the form of tables. A database can be of any size and varying complexity. A database may be generated and manipulated manually, or it may be computerized. A database system is designed to be built and populated with data for a certain task. Example, customer database consists of fields as C name. C name means customer name. Then C number, C city, and C country. Now when you look at the table below, you will see how they are outlined. All the fields that we have in this word customers database. So now looking at that illustration table, you will see what we mean by a database. Let us look at database system. It is computerized system whose overall purpose is to maintain the information and to make it available on demand. This is a type of system that makes information available to demand. Now let us now look into the database management system, which is where all our focus should be. Now, database management system is a software for storing and retrieving users' data while considering appropriate security measures. It consists of a group of programs which manipulate the database. The DBMS, which is an abbreviation, accepts the request for data from an application and instructs the operating system to provide the specific data. In large systems, a database management system helps users and other third-party software to store and retrieve data. DBMS allows users to create their own databases as per their requirement. The term DBMS includes the user of the database and other application programs. It provides an interface between the data and the software application. As we have seen in the definition, DBMS is simply a system that you can use or that aids you to create a database in the computer. Now let us see the simple example of a university database. This database is maintaining information concerning students, takers, and courses in a university environment. The database is organized as 3 files. The student file stores data of each student. The take course file contains data on each course taken by a student. Then the courses stores the information about all the courses. To define the school database system, we need to specify the structure of the record of each file by defining the different types of data elements to be stored in each record. We can also use a coding scheme to represent the values of a data item. Basically, our database will have 3 tables with a foreign key defined amongst the various tables. Now, when you look at our database, this is the database. This is a database now, a database of what? The school. Now, this database has 3 tables, which is the table of students, the table of takes course, and the table of courses. Now, the table of students, we have fields, which is the data element. We have about 4, which is ID, name, phone, and the date of birth. We have about 4 fields and 3 records. It's also applied in other tables. Now, in this field, this is a unique identifier because no 2 persons can have the same ID. So we uniquely use this field to identify all the records of students. Now, this unique identifier can be used to identify the remaining record of each student in students table. So when we use those particular identifier, which is ID, to identify other records of a particular student from another table, that ID is served as a foreign key. So, but in the main table, that is the parent table, is served as a primary key. So the same thing applies to table 2 and table 3, which is table of take course and table of what? Courses. Here, it's serving as a primary key. We use this class ID to identify each record here. Here now, we use the foreign key to identify the remaining record of a student from this word table. So this can also serve as a foreign key when you're considering this to be a primary key as well. Now let us look at the brief history of DBMS. Here are the important landmarks from the history. In 1990s, relational model becomes a widely accepted database component. In 1985, object-oriented database management system was developed. In 1990s, incorporation of object orientation in relational database management system was in place. In 1991, Microsoft ships MS Access, a personal database management system, and that displays all other personal database management system products. In 1995, first internet database application was put in place. In 1997, SML applied to database processing. Many vendors began to integrate SML into database management system products. Now let us look at the characteristics of database management system. Number 1, it provides security and removes redundancy. Number 2, self-describing nature of a database system. Number 3, installation between programs and data abstraction. Number 4, support of multiple views of the data. Number 5, sharing of data and the multi-user transaction processing. Number 5, database management system allows entities and relations among them to form tables. Number 6, it follows the ICID concept, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. And finally, DBMS supports multi-users environment that allows users to access and manipulate data in parallel. Now let us look into the contrast of DBMS versus flat file. Now DBMS, it promotes multi-user access, while in flat file it does not support multi-user access. In DBMS, it's designed to fulfill the need for small and large businesses, while in flat file it is only limited to smaller database management systems. In DBMS, it removes redundancy. Redundancy here is anomalous. Things that are not supposed to be. That's what we call what? Redundancy. Things that make a table not to be easily accessed. To make things that make tables to be difficult, we call it redundancy or anomaly. So it removes redundancy and promotes integrity. While in flat file, redundancy and integrity are issues. Then it is expensive, but in the large term, total cost of ownership is cheap. It is cheaper. Now, easy to implement complicated transaction, but in flat file, no support for complicated transaction. Now, let us see the users in a DBMS environment. Following are the various categories of users of database management system. Now, the component name and their tags, that's what we're going to look into. Under the component name, we have application programmers, which is one of the users of DBMS. What are their tags? The application programmers write programs in various programming languages to interact with database. Now, the second one, we have database administrators. What are the tags? Database administrators is responsible for managing the entire database system. He or she is called database admin or DBA. Then the next one we have is what? End users. The end users are the people who interact with the database management system. They conduct various operations on database like retrieving, updating, deleting, and so on. These end users are the categories we fall in, as in those people that are not programmers or database administrators. They will now fall in end users. Now let us look into the popular database software. Here is the list of some popular database software. We can also say that examples of database management system. Number one is MySQL, then Microsoft Access, Oracle, Postgre, DBase, FastPro, SQLite, IBM DBase 2, Maria DBase, Microsoft SQL Server, and so on. These are the examples of database management system. Now, application of database management system. We're going to look at the applications of database management system in the side of the sector and in this their uses. But the first one is banking. For customers' information, that is what they do with it. They use it for customers' information, account activities, payment, deposit, loans, and so on. Then in airlines, they use it for reservation and schedule information. Then in universities, they use it for student information, course registration, colleges, and grades. Then in telecommunication, it helps to keep call records, monthly bills, maintaining balances, and so on. Then in finance, they use for storing information about stock, sales, and purchases of financial instruments like stocks and the bonds. Then in sales, it's used for storing customer products and sales information. Then in manufacturing, it is used for the management of supply chain and for tracking production of items, inventory status in warehouses. Then for HR management is used for information about employee, salaries, payroll, deduction, generation of pay checks, and so on. Now let's see the types of DBMS. We have 4 basic types of DBMS. The first one is what? Hierarchical. The second one is what? Network. And the third one is relational and the object-oriented, as being labeled in the structure above. Now, the 4 basic types of database management system, you also call them the structure of a database management system, or also call them models, database models. These involve the hierarchical database, then network database, relational database, and the object-oriented database. They are models of hierarchical database management system. In a hierarchical database, model data is organized in a tree-like structure. Data is stored hierarchically, top-down or bottom-up format. Data is represented using a parent-child relationship. In hierarchical database management system, parents may have many children, but children may have only one parent. When you look at this structure below, you will find out this is a parent having 2 children, and this is another parent having 1 children, and this root is the generation. So when you look at this, the second structure, we see structure of a school. In the school, you have students and you have teachers. Under students, you have name, age, class, subject, while under teacher, they have name and a salary. We can also have subject under teacher. Then the main thing we need to understand here, they are in what? Tree-like structure. This one is network model. The network database model allows each child to have multiple parents. It helps you to address the need to model more complex relationships, like as in others or parts, many-to-many relationship. In this model, entities are organized in a graph which can be accessed through several paths. Now, when you look at the structure below, you find out that entity can be accessed through several paths. Entity can be accessed through several paths, unlike in tree structure where it is in top-down structure. There, it is not top-down structure. Child allowed to have more children. So when you look at this structure now, here this is the object and this is the database entities. Now you see the relationship. It's unlike the data, the table structure. These, they are what? Complex. There is complex relationship here. So in this kind of structure, it is called network model. The next one is relational database model. Relational database management system is the most widely used database management system model because it is one of the easiest. This model is based on normalizing data in the rows and columns of the table. Relational models stored in fixed structures and manipulated using SQL. Now, when you look at the structures below, you will see the example of what? Relational database management system. They are in form of what? A table that comprises of columns and rows, which is the most widely used database management. Now, last of it is object-oriented model. In object-oriented model, data is stored in the form of objects. The structure, which is called classes, which display data within it. It defines a database as a collection of objects which stores both data, members, values, and operation. Now, what you see below here are the 2 examples of object-oriented model. There are 2 examples of object-oriented model. Data are stored in form of what? Objects. Let's look at the advantages of database management system. It offers a variety of techniques to store and retrieve data. It serves as an efficient handler to balance the need of multiple applications using the same data. Uniform administration procedures for data. Application programmers never exposed to details of data representation and storage. A database management system uses various powerful functions to store and retrieve data effectively. It offers data integrity and security. The database management system implies integrity constraints to get a high level of protection against prohibited access to data. The DBMS schedules concurrent access to the data in such a manner that only one user can access the same data at a time. It reduces application development time. Now to the disadvantages of database management system. DBMS may offer plenty of advantages as we have seen, but it has certain flaws. Number one, cost of hardware and software of a DBMS is quite high, which increases the budget of your organization. Most of database management systems are often complex systems, so the training for users to use the DBMS is required. In some organizations, all data is integrated into a single database, which can be damaged because of electric failure, or database is corrupted on the storage medium. Then another one, the use of the same program at a time by many users sometimes lead to the loss of some data. And finally, database management system can perform sophisticated calculations. In summary, I would like you to take note of the following. A database is a collection of related data which represents some aspects of the real world. Secondly, DBMS stands for Database Management System, and it is a collection of programs that enable users to create and maintain a database. In other ways, it is a general purpose software that provides the user with the processes of defining, constructing, and manipulating the database for various applications. Also note that DBMS provides security and removes redundancy, as I've explained. Then finally, it has many advantages over traditional flat file management system that we usually use. And also note that end users, application programmers, and database administrators are the type of users who accesses a database management system. Then database management system is widely used in banking, airline, telecommunication, finance, and other industries. We also made mention of 4 types of database management system, which includes hierarchical model, network model, relational model, and object-oriented database management system models. Now, database management systems serve as an efficient handler to balance the need of multiple applications using the same data. That's one of the advantages. I listed other advantages. And the cost of hardware and software of a database management system is quite high, which increases budget of your organization as a disadvantage of a database management system. My dear students, we have come to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I would also like to use these questions to evaluate you. So answer the questions and submit your answer to my WhatsApp number, which is 080-6394-1061. Thank you for listening and remain blessed. 061. Thank you for listening and remain blessed.